Hello, and welcome back. We are discussing week 9, which is recovering a sense of compassion in our workshop. And remember, we had to make an adjustment to our group workshops, and we're doing a new format. So this format is going to be just an individual presentation and then the actual video for the artist date, fun activity, craft activity that we have planned. So what the author was discussing in the Rediscovering the Sense of Compassion chapter is basically the concept of fear and how that plays a role in not only blocking us as artists and our artist child, but also in how it plays itself out in our behaviors, and then if we allow it, and how we are able to frame it, or the word choices that we use for that, we can find ourselves maybe mislabeling what it really is meaning and what it's doing in our lives. So one of the most important tasks that she discusses as an artist during this recovery and the process of trying to become unblocked as an artist is to call things and ourselves by the right names. A lot of times we will spend years with the wrong labels, the wrong names, the wrong ways in which we interpret, or in the ways in which we view our behaviors in a negative way, because that's part of that negative self, that self-talk, that part that we discussed that was kind of like our parasite that is initially designed to be able to protect us, but then eventually it becomes a way to stop us from really expressing ourselves, and we don't really understand why. And so that negative label gets attached. And so sometimes the idea of our inability to create is really, we label it as laziness. That you're just being lazy, you're just not necessarily doing what you should be doing, you just don't really kind of doing the work. And the more accurate and more compassionate term to use with ourselves is and less cruel word to use for the actual label is fear. And that fear is really the fact that is what's blocking us, and what's preventing us from being able to produce. And so there are different kinds of fear, and the energy that is expended in that fear, the energy that for years people may not see, but the psychological energy that we spend on it can either make us self-hate, we can self-doubt, we can have regret, grief, more jealousy, and spend a lot of time in our lives with that energy being used in that way. And that's what also creates our blockage and prevents us from really being able to create in general, but also starts to then kind of go off on somebody else and really start to really be more negative on others. And that may create another cycle as well. So we have to remember as artists that we not only have to take baby steps in this process of understanding ourselves, but also we have to be thinking about how we really are the artist child that's inside us. It's really a child, and that child needs to be nurtured and taken care of, and it's our responsibility to do that and to take the time to do that. And so how we label that, how we go about doing that and helping work through the fear that we're experiencing will help us in all of it that we do. It does not have to be specifically an art career and being a specific artist, but in any way that we express ourselves and that we create. And that's what we've been trying to talk about throughout this entire process in this workshop, is that this is kind of what we are doing in our lives, is that we are designed to create, to make, especially as women, but in general, as we cook, as we nurture, as we live our lives with other people, we express ourselves in different ways, and part of that is creating and being able to allow ourselves to just allow the process to work, and to see where it leads us, and to listen to our higher power in that process and to guide us through it. And so if we allow ourselves to be blocked and to prevent ourselves from being able to go any further, then we really do fall into being in situations where we can't create, that we just for whatever reason aren't able to do something, aren't able to do the things that we think we should be able to do. And so that causes a lot of angst and issues in our lives. And some of it is also not only fear of the other elements and the energy that we're spending there, but it's fear of not only failure, but it's also fear of success. And sometimes we're afraid of what it might bring to our lives and the work that we have to put in to keep up that success. And sometimes sometimes we might be more willing or wanting to stay within that realm of like maybe pity, or maybe might get more attention if we aren't necessarily performing at our best. Like we would do better if we didn't have this, or if this didn't do this, and that type of stuff. And so we might get more attention and favor if we aren't necessarily successful and doing that work and doing the extra work. And so sometimes we might also sabotage ourselves in that way. So not only the fear of failure, but also the fear of success. And one of the elements that she gets into is about how we as artists, our parents, and our direct support or mentors in our lives, they do act hurt when children rebel, right? We have this, it hurts us. And declaring ourselves as an artist sometimes can be viewed negatively by our parents, and it can be seen as an act of rebellion. And unfortunately, in this process as an artist's life, as you become an adolescent and you're going through your rebellion stage, it may also continue with the concept of being an artist, and that somehow that's even more rebellious to the parent, and it becomes more of this conflict that you have with the parents. And because artists may sometimes still have that connection with being creative, we may feel guilty when we all want to create as an adult, that somehow we've attached that to that rebellion to our parents, and that rebellion of expressing ourselves and being independent and doing the things we want to do and color outside the lines and that type of thing. And that really causes people to have that association, and that can also cause an unknown, or that kind of like, why am I not, what am I afraid of? And part of it is that you might be abandoned in this process. And so the other part of that element is that if you're going to rebel, and if you're going to go through this process as an artist, sometimes you justify that the rebellion by making sure that if you're going to do it, you're going to do it. You have to be a great artist. And if you're going to do it, you're going to have to produce great work. Because why would you do and cause so much harm to your family and to your parents if you weren't going to be awesome? So how hard is it for an artist if you always have that element of like, it has to be perfect, it has to be fantastic? And if it's not fantastic, if I'm not a Picasso, then I can't possibly be an actual artist. And so that logic becomes, it folds in on itself, and it causes us a lot of issues. So we will have that fear, and that, it's very hard for us to just give ourselves permission to be an artist versus having to be a great artist all the time. And so that's part of this process that we're working on, is to allow ourselves to be able to express ourselves and to have that safe place where we can have fun and be an artist versus having to be a great artist all the time and have that kind of judgment on everything that we do, because that messes with the whole process. The idea that, as a child, we're trying to just have fun, we're just trying to have an opportunity to enjoy ourselves and to just express ourselves. Just recently, when I went to the store to get supplies for this project that we're going to be doing, and I ran into it's like 3 or 4 different people randomly in the store in the aisles. One was asking me if I was an artist, and because I had my sketch pad there, because I was going to get it framed and matted. And so she's like, well, do you do watercolor? I was like, well, yes. And so we started talking about it. And then she's like, well, do you know if there's ever a black stretch one? And so we started talking about, I go, well, recently I really got into the metallics. She goes, that's exactly what I'm going to get. I'm going to try that. So we're talking about having fun with the metallics and the way the colors reflect and like what it can do. And so she was getting excited about what she was going to try. And she goes, oh, I got this new set and she's going to do this. And then another person came up. She goes, well, my mom does this. Can you help me which one which way should I go here? So we were giving her advice. And then another woman comes up and she goes, well, do you think I could do that too? Or do you think it would be hard? And we just started having all this just random conversations about having fun and being able to allow yourself to be able to experiment and see what happens and to see how the process works. And that was a lot of, it was an opportunity for me to observe that process for other artists, but also on creative people in general. But it was also just sort of fun to think that, yeah, and that was what I left. It was like, hope you have some fun with that, because that's really what it's all about, and allowing that process to percolate and to grow and to see what happens. And so that was really a fun opportunity, and that's what we're trying to accomplish, not only through this process that we've been going through with these workshops, but in our lives in general. So once this is passed and you're no longer doing the workshops, then you will be able to work on that enthusiasm that we really are looking for. That way of being able to say, okay, it's about love and loving ourselves through this process. And remembering we're loving that inner child. And so that inner child needs to have, I mean, it may be, very, angry and hold grudges and be, so you have to think about, like, on a child's level, on a 2-year-old, 3-year-old's level, what is it that they really enjoy? And it's going to be like making that, instead of like a, forced scenario, it has to be this way, it has to be a certain thing, it looks this way, that takes all the fun out of it, right? So you need to make sure that when you're going through any of these processes, that you're giving yourself that playground opportunity. These play dates, these creative opportunities, these expressions of ourselves are to be like a playground. It is a play date, an artist play date, and to allow yourself to whatever that might be. And so that allows us not only to show ourselves love and that inner child love, but also it shows us that enthusiasm that we really are trying to get. And what I thought was fun in the author, she was talking about that it's really requiring the enthusiasm more than discipline. And the enthusiasm is not an emotional state. It is a spiritual commitment, a loving surrender to our creative process, a loving recognition of all creativity around us. And then she even went in further to say, enthusiasm is from the Greek word to be filled with God. And it is an ongoing energy supply tapped into the flow of life itself. Enthusiasm is grounded in play, not work. Far from being a brain-numbed soldier, our artist is actually our child within, our inner playmate. And as with all playmates, it is joy, not duty, that makes for a lasting bond. And so we need to be really thinking about how we create joy and find joy. And that, like we talked about before, is to find color or to find ways in which we can express ourselves. And so that's what all of these activities have been designed for, is to not only to see and to experiment and see what you like and what you might find maybe you want to do more of, but also just to maybe have a spark of like, oh, I used to love to do this. Oh, this reminds me of when I did that. And then all of a sudden, like, oh yes, that's what I maybe need to be doing more of, right? To find that joy but we forget. We put it aside, we bury it, we'll get to it later. All of those things, it's I can't spend time on it now, I got other responsibilities. Well, allowing ourselves that time to be able to have that allows us to be able to really enjoy it. And so that's what we're trying to do, to really foster enthusiasm, to be filled with God and allow that process, that spiritual process, to occur. And she went on to a variety of different things about making sure that our workspaces are really play spaces. And so no matter whatever we're doing, we're playing or having a good time or seeing what happens. And that's the process versus the product, right? So the process is the end goal, the way in which we go about doing it, the music, the fun, the laughter, the space. It's not going to be this sterile environment. It is going to be something that we can enjoy and express ourselves that way. But remember, she also brings up that we tend to do things like creative U-turns. And that means that we sometimes will sabotage ourselves and we'll prevent ourselves from really expressing that next level. And so sometimes we will become addicted to the sympathy of it all, like becoming threatened, by, you know, other artists that maybe are doing really well. And you're like, well, why can't I do it? And so you get a little jealous, you get a little threatened by that, and what's wrong with me, and why can't I do it? And that just was too much work. I would do it if I did had this, that type of thing. And so, but that causes us to then start a U-turn. So if something is going well in our lives, or things are going, or we're getting to this point where things are starting to like click, then we will put the brakes on. We'll stop it, we'll turn it around, and we'll do a U-turn. And sometimes it means anything from like a screenwriter that is told to make a few changes, and then he just stops writing entirely because he felt there was rejection. Then you might have a performance artist who's offered a space to use work for shopping his new material, and he does it once but doesn't like the mixed reception that he got at the particular thing, and so he decides to stop doing it altogether. An actor who is told to get his headshots together and check back with the prestigious agent, he doesn't get the headshots and he doesn't check back. An actress producer with a solid script is offered a studio deal to further develop her project, and she finds fault with the deal and then shelves the project entirely. A painter is invited to a group show, his first group show, but picks a fight with the gallery owner, and then of course doesn't present his work. So there are ways in which we sabotage ourselves, but we do these different creative U-turns, and it's because we're afraid. We're afraid of all of the above. And again, it's not just failure that we're afraid of, but we're also afraid of success. And so sometimes we will do that to ourselves, and we'll create all these U-turns. And so in dealing with these U-turns, we must first of all extend ourselves sympathy and love, because it is scary. And it's because being creative is expressing who we are in ourselves. It's like a baby you're producing. It's like it's part of you. And so when someone does criticize that, it does feel very personal versus just business or just other stuff or anything else. It does feel, it hurts you inside because that's a reflection of you. And if that's my expression of myself and someone criticizes that or doesn't like it or that type of thing, then all of a sudden it can be that immediate, oh, okay, it's not perfect, it's not wonderful, it's not great, and so you just don't want to deal with that anymore. You want to deal with the rest of it and the work it would take to be able to make it better. And so we will do these to ourselves and our careers. But remember, it's not just creatives that do this. It's for everyone will do this in all careers. That will stop us from being successful because we will feel that fear. And so these creative U-turns occur all the time. And we just have to, as we're working through our recovery, as we're dealing with these different things, we need to make sure that we are providing ourselves with that love and compassion. And that was the theme of this chapter, was compassion. And really showing ourselves the love to be able to go and work through these blocks. Work and take the time to be able to express ourselves and to have fun and to be able to really make that a priority in our life and not let that get away from us. So by working through these blocks, we are really allowing ourselves to create a safe space, being able to allow ourselves to do these scary things, putting ourselves out there, but allowing ourselves to do it in a safe way. And allowing ourselves to be able to say, okay, we can have a little fun with this without anybody like criticizing us, because we're creating an environment that does that. There's no judgment zone, right? It's a safe place, and it allows us to be able to say, okay, we're going to enjoy this. And it doesn't matter that it's not Picasso. It does not matter, because it is something that I enjoy and it makes me happy. And that's what matters. And so that's what we got to look at in all of this process. And really working on letting go of anger and resentments and those things that hold us back, and all those emotions that, are really causing us to hang on to that versus working on the other piece. And so we got to let those things go and allow us to be able to work through the block to be able to make sure that we are able to continue to create. She gave a lot of different tasks this week that are really helpful. So for those that are working on the book, I definitely would suggest to continue to go through, work those tasks, and allow yourself to be able to really kind of process and think about them in more detail. Keep continuing to work on your pages, continue to work on the artist dates outside of our own, and just have time of enjoy your nature walks, and just really spend the time to enjoy and look for the joy in your life and in your everyday life. And just remember that, like, and remember to express that, whether it's with what you're wearing, or what your environment, having nice things around you, so you can see and be able to enjoy that as well. So it reminds you as well of what you did and how much fun you had. So that brings that little smile to your face and allows you to say, yeah, this is the right direction. I'm enjoying this. This is good for me. And so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start working on the task for today's assignment. What we're going to be working on is fairy gardens. And I decided to choose fairy gardens because, one, it's fun. Fairy gardens, they're just a nice way. I like gnomes, I like the little fairies, I love gardens in general, and there was just so much that you can do, so you can really allow yourself to just enjoy it. In the summertime, we're almost getting done with the summer and all the heat, and so we can create our own little space that's a nice little green space that you can enjoy and have anywhere you want. So you can have it on your kitchen table, in your garden itself, your patio, your office, wherever what would be, to be able to allow yourself to enjoy that little fairy garden. And so that's what we're going to be working on tonight, and I'll see you in a few minutes. Hello, thanks for coming back. Today we're having a artist group project, and we're doing fairy gardens today. And so from chapter 9, we're also doing a Rediscovering Compassion, and so it's going to be in a different section. Right now we're going to be focusing on the actual craft. And we went shopping, so we have all kinds of things that you can do with the fairy garden. You can make out of recycled items, boxes, you can do dishes, you can just look around the house, you can find kits. Can you bring that kit over here? This kit, there's a kit that's available at Michael's. There's another kit also available at Michael's. We did a lot of Michael's shopping. And then we actually found huge sales today. So you can go to the dollar store. This was 70% off at Michael's. And we found all kinds of goodies to work with. And so we're all going to be doing a different type of fairy garden, and maybe more than one. These are the kinds of things that you can find, and you can just look and see, like, whatever you want to make your fairy garden out of. Just have fun with it, and remember to be compassionate to yourself and to others, and no judgment. We just have ourselves a good time and enjoy our little fairy gardens. But be thinking about how you can show compassion to yourself and to others in your life. So we get started. I picked up this little miniature studio kit. It's a hat, so it's going to be my art studio I'm going to make. So I'm looking forward to that. And in this, I'm going to make my little outdoor little fairy garden for a new fairy. So we'll see what happens there. And Hannah, what do you choose?
Yeah, so I picked up this small little mini garden because I kind of liked the shape and like how it's like small and like a little globe and kind of a, what's the word? And terrarium, mm-hmm. Kind of like that. I'm not going to use stuff inside, but I really like the globe. She has one just like mine, so we're kind of doing kind of a similar thing. And then also picked up this, which is just a bigger, like, one that's already kind of made. But yeah, so I'm going to try and do a couple.
And the other one, Ashley may decide what she wants to do. She has a couple of different choices to come along with. So when we go through things, she might find something else she wants to do. So I thought we'd go ahead and get started and enjoy the process. So everybody can get in and start working on their stuff. I think I'm going to set this down.
I forgot to open this.
That's always the fun part. So I was telling
Did you end up getting chia seeds? Did they give them to you?
Oh, that's right.
So I think it is in here.
They have to be.
These look seedy. Mine looks pretty seedy.
We'll see. We'll give it 3 to 5 days, as it says.
There seems to be a controversy of not having the chia seeds that are supposed to be in the kit available to them. So that has been an issue, just trying to figure out, are they there? Did somebody steal them? Or did they put them in with the soil, which doesn't make sense.
Is it just the chia seed not included?
Or did they somehow say it was a big prank and they didn't bring the seeds in?
It heavily implies they're supposed to be seeds and that they're not in the soil because it says to sprinkle in the steps. I read them and it says to sprinkle in the seeds. And I look on the box and it says chia seeds that'll sprout in 3 to 5 days. And so it's really inconsistent.
It is really crazy that you would have both of you would have no chia seeds. And it's just, I just find that sad that that's such an issue that they're not. You should at least have. It'd be more obvious. Yeah, it's my little oh no
Mini videos? Is that what you're talking
yeah,
about?
that's my
What are you looking for?
my
Hedgehog?
no, the painting. I thought I grabbed everything.
I saw it.
I thought there was
It's
an
not here. It should be on
actual
the ground.
easel.
Yeah, I saw the easel somewhere.
Maybe it's in here. I missed it. Oh, I missed it.
Nice.
At least we found it. So
Yes, I was like, oh no. Now they come with all these different fun kits. You can go absolutely crazy. Or you can get some clay, and you can make your own items. Certainly air dry or bake them. So there's a variety of different ways. You don't have to spend a ton of money to do these projects, but I always try to give you some options and availability. You can use everything from what's outside. You can plant real plants and give yourself the ability to do that. So you can have many options for your fairy gardens in general, but also just for any of your projects. You want to make sure that you are finding, well, what can you do? You may want to do these other things, but you may not have the money at the time. So you can find different ways to approach your projects and have fun with it.
I do like the jewels I got. It's giving me
Okay,
Barbie.
good. Yay!
Oh.
I was hoping because I was looking for pink.
Yeah, we're
But
trying to
then-
find pink.
Yeah,
We're
and I
trying
was
to
gonna
put
do
our
the
characters.
purple, but I was like, but then I had pink on the inside. I was like, I think we can work with that. We can work with that.
There's a lot of cool stuff. It's kind of tough to figure out. Where does he not want to go in? He wants to fight me.
And it does.
That looks pretty good so far.
Good.
Did you say these are two different colors?
Yes. I was about to say, am I gonna have to get out some more tools? This is supposed to be an easy little press on. Like, okay.
Maybe like a little hammer, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I was like, am I gonna have to bust out the tools? There we go. It's a puzzle. It is a puzzle. Here I am.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. For a second there, I was like, the window isn't the right way, and then I was like, oh wait, she's gonna turn.
This
it.
one's cute. I should have done that one. I was debating between getting this or the other one.
Yeah, this was like actually a little bit more reasonable in price.
I was gonna say,
But it was an actual, like a quarter of a room. So it's like a diorama, but it created a space for an actual little room.
Like a little dollhouse.
Yeah, like a dollhouse. And I thought, oh, I can add that to my fairy garden. I have a section of a fairy garden in another part of the house that I've been working on. And I have little tiers, and I have one row that's I got started, and the rest I'm still working on. And this may very well be in addition to that piece. I'm not sure yet. Oh, my easel just fell apart.
I think you can fix it with some hot
Oh,
glue
some
or super
glue.
glue.
Yeah, just some glue. Here.
Yep, that's a glue for sure. Thank
We
you.
adapt.
I was like, oh no! Don't tell me.
I keep dropping my thing every 2 seconds. It's just, I just like immediate butter fingers every 2 seconds. You know, it'd be cute. We'll play in the corner.
Oh, you know, that's a great idea. Thank you very much. And it's a good size for it, as if it somehow I had it planned or something.
There you go.
I love when that happens. That's the best time. Serendipity. Now, it's just like when you're cooking and you sit down and you get everybody eating and it's quiet, you know it's good food when you're sitting down and it's quiet. It's the same kind of thing with crafting. When you're getting into it and you're having a good time, you know you're having a good time and everything's coming together when you kind of have that lull of, okay, we're focused in, we're enjoying this. All right, let that dry. All right, I gotta do some painting to make this stuff happen.
Are you gonna glue down some of your pieces onto the thing, or are you just gonna leave it so you can shift it around as you please?
I think I might glue some of the pieces together, the smaller pieces together, but most of the stuff on the ground, I think I'm going to let be loose enough so I can move it around.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe add some pieces. I saw a couch that I was looking at but I wasn't quite sure it was gonna work with the decor, so I thought I'd try these first. If these work for a chair, then I'm in business. If they don't, well, they don't, and I'll have to figure out something else. But that's the fun part, right?
Okay, I'm gonna need a little bit of glue.
Oh, absolutely.
Because my sticky is not sticky.
No problem. I put it back on there, so I need to make it too cumbersome. But I have a tendency of not being.
I'll come back to this piece later.
Oh.
I picked the wrong flower up anyway.
This is paint I want to get you. All right. Oh, I'm loving the colors.
They're so pretty.
They're pretty. I think you guys did a good job of picking up colors. Oh, bless you.
Thank you.
Bless you, bless you.
Yeah. Big sneeze.
So I had gotten these like at a dollar store clearance a few years ago, and I couldn't figure out what I was going to do with them yet. I was like, okay. So I am going to see if they'll work in my studio. But the orange and stuff is not going to work in my studio. So I'm trying to paint this one to give it a little different look. Maybe make a little pillow for it. Give it more of a reading chair.
You could use one of these like little plastic baggies, make it a little smaller, cut it, put some of the moss in it, make a little pillow for it.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I like that.
That way it gives very much a nice little comfy couch feel.
Yeah, I like it. And it's a no-sew project. That's
Look at
also a
these
little bit
scissors.
easier. Oh, absolutely. And I try to put in the middle, but I forgot to put it back. I'm sorry about that.
I'm gonna sneeze again. I can feel it. I think because I called it out, it won't happen though. Which might be the worst thing I could have done to myself.
Oh.
What? Oh. Oh, you're on to that part already?
Yeah, I think I'm done decorating. I'm just gonna lay the base.
Can you do me a favor? I forgot to grab the paper towel, and I want to set it down so I don't get you wet with the paint. If I can help it. Thank you. Alrighty. So they had all kinds of kits there. They have everything. The fun part is just kind of looking around and seeing what's available. They also had Halloween kits to make little fairy gardens with, or little city type thing with the Halloween, and that was almost a go. We almost did that. That was very close.
It was almost an early Halloween episode.
Yes, it was almost. I was thinking I'm gonna have to do that or plan one and do something special
Well, you can
for.
always record ahead
Yeah, do
and post it later.
some Halloween,
Mhm.
and then maybe a Christmas. You can do the little cities. I love the cities. That would be fun. Maybe that'll be a plan for a holiday special.
There we go.
I honestly thought this color was going to be lighter.
It is darker.
Maybe it dries lighter.
Yeah. We shall see. But it's looking even darker from. I remember from the swatch I had gotten, it was supposed to be more of like a light, like a eggshell type blue or a robin's egg type blue.
Well, you can always like brush it lightly. Get one of the like regular brushes to give it like a wood grain on it. Oops,
Oh,
sorry.
that's true.
With the lighter blue. And if you want to lighten it up a bit.
I'm surprised. I just like, oh, I thought it was going to be a little lighter. But you know, it might end up being just right. Maybe we can give it some, maybe we can put some flowers on it, make it really girly. Artsy. Maybe I should say artsy.
There you go.
So now I've done my little base.
I think that's cute.
And can you pass me the scissors?
Yes.
Thank you.
That looks so cute. I just wish we knew about whether or not these
Chia seeds right here?
yeah.
Well,
They
no.
definitely aren't included.
In either
Because
kit.
you were right. In the store, in the directions, it says sprinkle a few chia seeds over.
So, and it says it's in there. I mean, the way you're reading it, it should be part of the kit. Do you have to seal it in for this to work, or can we go and get ourselves some chia seeds?
Probably can get some chia
You can
seeds.
just get chia seeds. I think we have some. I'm pretty sure I'm about to go get them.
Because I was like, I kept reading it. I was like, I don't think they're going to be in the dirt, but maybe. We're lucky. I don't know why they act like it's in the box. Because I really did look.
Well, I'm thinking it was supposed to be. So probably something went wrong somewhere, and that's where we get the, you know.
Were they on discount? Were they?
There was
Were
a
they discounted?
sale.
I was like,
There was a sale, but it wasn't.
they were like,
it
we gotta
wasn't.
discount the ones with chia seeds. They don't need to know.
Maybe.
They'll just be happy to start making it. Maybe they won't realize it has chia seeds.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know how much dirt is too much dirt because I'm not sure if I'm supposed to use the whole bag or not.
Oh,
I did.
Okay, I'm gonna pour some. Can you pass the water?
absolutely.
It's
We
very
might,
messy.
we might need to get more water. Just FYI, I thought that'd be enough for everybody, but I didn't anticipate how much you need for the.
Yeah, it doesn't
That ain't
work.
gonna work.
I still did it though. Just 'cause I just cleaned up the mess later. Speaking of which, you might be on
I
your
might
bed.
have gotten some dirt on your chair because I was trying to blow the water off my thing.
Okay.
Some character.
There you go.
Wait, I can use the pipette. No, wait, that's gonna be for the sand. Okay.
I'm gonna do like a completely different color. I want to go with like.
Does it work?
Should I make, since this is gonna be blue in here, do I want that to be blue or do I want it to be like
I would definitely not match the colors.
so?
I personally would leave it white and like fill it with colorful books and colorful. But if you did color, I would do purple.
You could also do like multicolor, like really like if you want to
Oh,
go
that'd be fun.
colorful, go all out.
That's true.
Are you gonna paint the walls or the floor at all?
I'm thinking of painting this wall at least.
Like an accent wall?
Mm-hmm. But I was debating if I wanted to do like like stickers or like a wallpaper type. So those that is in the back of my head. Maybe I want to do some type of wallpaper, or if I leave it white, it would be more gallery like. So that's also a possibility. Or do I make it black?
Oh, these are the questions.
I could do that. I might make this black.
I think that look good.
And that way you have it kind of on the opposite end. And that way everything else I put on it will stand out.
I had too much water.
I think you did.
Well, if I get a paper towel, can you pass me the paper towel over there?
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to sop up some of the excess liquid.
That'd be good.
It's funny. That's the fun part about any type of crafting is being flexible and allowing the process to work, but also allowing yourself to like, okay, if that didn't quite work the way you thought it was going to, or anticipate it was going to act a certain way, then you certainly can change that and make something else or adjust. That's the
Actually,
story of most lives.
Their towel worked really well. And it adds more dirt.
There we go.
And I take my little lid that I was using to press down earlier and press that down. So it like really absorb the water. Bang that dirt down.
Now I gotta find some little books to put in here.
No, you need colorful books.
You could also, I've seen people where they make like books they've read and they make them into little miniature versions.
Oh,
And
that's
then
a
you
great
could-
idea.
You could laminate the little piece of paper and cut them out, laminate them, make them little books.
It's not that they
Good
actually take the
idea.
book they really like, but then cut into it and like kind of make like a home in there.
Yeah, I've seen that too. I've been thinking about that as well. I've seen like puzzles that they made, and I always put that on my Christmas list because I was like, that's so cool. They actually have it, and then they put it in between on their bookshelf. Like it's a little extra like a reading book inside the book on the bookshelf. I thought that was cool. I saw that in somebody's, I don't know, story or something.
I wish I had a little fairy.
That's the one thing. Oh, you can make a fairy with
With
the clay. Yeah.
Okay.
So we can definitely do that. All you have to do is kind of, well, you got to get yourself the clay, and then you can work on, because I find sometimes that's the one
It's gonna
thing.
look bad, but
The one thing I find is when I look for fairies when I'm out and about, the fairies themselves, the faces are fine, but the painting, I don't know, that some of them just look a little kind of creepy sometimes, and I don't really care for that. So I am
not a big fan of
I don't really want to have my creepy fairies in my garden. So at least not in this garden. So maybe my Halloween garden. But so I've been looking for stuff, but I find that they're not as cute and smiley and stuff as I would like. And so I don't always buy the fairy. I buy the items for the fairy garden, but I don't always buy the fairy.
Well, that might also have to do with the legend of fairies themselves, like fae. It's kind of interesting. I've really always been interested in kind of folklore. Like fairies and fae are always portrayed in like movies as like really sweet, like really nice creatures, but in folklore, not that nice. Like
They're
if
a little
you give
mischievous, right?
little more than mischievous, like they'll trap you into like there are these things called fairy circles where it's like a ring of flowers or a ring of mushrooms that grow, and so if a person gets into it, they're stuck dancing forever, or forever, until they no longer can dance.
Oh my!
Yeah, it's. And then there's a lot of like folklore has a lot of rules about fairies, like not to give them your name.
Really?
What was the other one? Not to
Does that give them
take
power or
anything.
something?
Yeah, it gives them like something over you. I don't know exactly what, but I always liked folklore, so it made me intrigued by it.
Mm-hmm.
Hannah was I like it too. I just when Hannah, she had like when she was younger, she had a magical fairy garden period of life. So we did like a magical fairy garden, a
Yeah.
birthday party, and we did, and we used to read these fairy garden books, a lot of different fairies, and they were mischievous, but they weren't, you know. So I may not, because of her age, when she got into that and we had fun with it, was probably a lot less of the, you know. And so I think that also kind of skewed my view of fairies, you know, like, but they are supposed to be magical, and they are supposed to have, you know, some abilities. So I don't doubt that some of the other lore would have, you know, the ability to do more than we necessarily want to give them credit for. In some of these other stories, we see like Tinkerbell and all of those, a lot more watered down, I suppose. That's what I'm trying to say. But again, everybody who's making their fairy garden, that's the beauty of any art, is we can make it any way we want.
Mm-hmm.
So you can enjoy either style or preference, or if you want to go a little darker, I don't see why anyone couldn't enjoy that in themselves. And again, this is your fairy garden, so the theme is about compassion to ourselves and how we talk to ourselves. And these projects are to help us to not only tap into our creativity, allow us a time to enjoy, to create, and to, you know, see what happens in the creative process. But it's also, these are opportunities for us to connect with our inner artist and what it's trying to express. And being the compassion is allowing that to happen, allowing the voice, whatever that voice is, to come out and say it's safe. You're safe here. You can enjoy and do whatever you want here. So if your fairy or your inner artist wants to do something different, entirely different than what any of us even chose to do or even thought about doing, that's perfectly fair. That's what, you know, that's what's so fun about all of this, is you can go in any direction you want. Like, you can have a backstory in all of these. You can have, like, what is your fairy doing? I'm kind of modeling my studio after myself. So like my little inner artist fairy. Okay, so I'm trying to make my little art studio, a dream art studio, right? So I want it to be fun and colorful and all that good stuff. But, you know, you may want to have yours to be, you know, a unicorn, or or maybe a superhero, or anything like that. So you can think about, what is your fairy in your fairy garden, or fairies in your fairy garden doing, and what are they, you know, what does that represent to you? So when you look at it and you enjoy what you created, it gives you that feeling of what, you know, what we were doing and why we're doing it, and that way you can enjoy that process as well. Is that what?
Yeah. Sorry.
No, actually I
Forgot about that one.
I also forgot about wiping my hands. I thought, okay, it's hard to remember everything. The things you're gonna need.
Yeah.
So. Oh, that's cute. That turned out cute. And I love that we were able to get the pink rocks in there. That's neat. Excuse me.
Thank you.
Like, this has a little book itself. I can set it on
Oh,
the shelf.
I like that.
That's good.
All right, so I'm going to turn my
Let's close it up.
room around so you can only see the room.
That was good.
Oh, it fell over.
No, that's, yeah.
But he's cute.
I feel like mine's gonna move around a lot.
Yeah,
I did get the double-sided tape that might help.
I don't know if you can double side tape on the same.
Hmm.
I just need to gently do this.
I didn't necessarily make you feel like you had to glue it down, though, if you wanted to keep or move it around a little. But that's up to you, obviously.
Okay. I think it should be good. Whoop. Okay, the rainbow fall over. Here we are.
Well, there, like I said, you have different choices here too. If you want to do more of a terrarium, if you want to do more of a diorama, and I have some other little pieces like Hannah might be able to do like some. I have.
Can you pass me pink fluff? Okay. Yep. Do you care if I glue in the bowl, or is this bowl for something else?
Oh no, you're fine.
Okay.
I do have this little door. If you wanted to make a door to.
Oh, maybe. I might do the door inside.
Oh yes,
Oh, it's so cute.
Oh, that turned out nice. So
I
you can
used
use the.
Well, I didn't want to do the mermaid. I wanted to do the little fairy in here.
Oh,
But I used the fairy from the other
Oh, okay.
box that we got.
Oh,
Go ahead and
okay.
show
What a
the
great
camera.
idea. That's nice. I like that. Can you give me a little bit of the lavender purple moss, please? I'm going to add to my 70% off little item. Give it a little extra pop of color. See what I can do here.
There we go. That looks good. So this is completely random. But Elmer's, I guess, has like a little squishies, I don't know, kit. Where you can make your own
that.
squishy. So I got one.
Nice.
And I'm going to do that really quickly.
There's no limit. A fairy could need a pet.
A fairy can need a pet. Oh, that's so cute that it opens up. Oh, yes. Oh, it's a mystery pet. Mystery pet.
Oh,
Ooh, wait,
even
let's
better.
Show the box again. Let's all make a guess on which one of the 80 it could be.
Where's the
Oh.
options at?
It's like discover all 80 mystery kit. Who has the budget?
80, right?
What parent is like, yes, child, I'll
Let's
get you
do
all
all
80s.
80s.
And there's no guarantee you're gonna
Oh my
get.
gosh, there is.
Not the same one twice?
Yeah,
And you get a different color as well.
Oh, different color as well?
So you get multiple colors.
I'm gonna guess a rabbit.
Rabbit.
Because there's gotta be a rabbit.
I'm gonna guess.
They're anything. They're just creatures.
An elephant.
Okay, I am going to go
Is there a rabbit option up there? Yeah, there is. Yeah.
I'm going to go for a fox.
Okay.
Okay. There's a strong possibility that none of us are correct.
I think so. Oh, ours is number 19 though, it says.
Ooh,
Number 19.
19. I'm feeling rabbit from 19.
Make it
That's a
happen.
bunny number there.
Make it happen. Oh my,
Oh my gosh,
goodness.
they give you all like the ones on the back here.
Okay,
Oh wait,
so now
no,
we
don't
know what
spoil
to-
it. Then
Oh,
give
yeah.
you the number.
You're right.
I don't know.
Oh, it's true, it's true.
Okay.
Don't
Sounds like someone's used to these types of
No, trust me, I'm addicted to like mystery packs. Like it's
I'd
bad.
love to get. Why are they so expensive though?
I
I just
know.
want to pick a little mini mystery, and it's like $10.
I did like the unicorno figures. Have you seen them?
Yes,
have-
I love those.
I got one that was spaghetti, which is so
Oh,
cute. I splurge on them sometimes. I'm like, you know what? I deserve this.
yes you do. Yes you do.
Like I went to Barnes and Nobles and splurged on a
Have to.
record, books, manga. What else did I
The
get? A
best
board
combo.
game.
Step 1 mix.
All right.
Trying to get this to stick to the glass.
Anything
Oh
else
dear.
you want to put in? Nice. She has a little hedgehog friend.
Oh,
Everybody needs a friend.
What do you think with the pumpkin?
That's nice. That's very cute. It's giving fall. We love it.
I could probably put some more stuff on the outside, maybe some flowers or something. We just gotta find some flowers. You can glue on there. Give her a little bit more of a canopy. Oh, it is giving I could do fall leaves.
Nothing's stopping you. Only your imagination can stop you now.
I actually have some photos. Oh, I have some extra squirrels and a couple. I have a couple extra squirrels if you'd like a squirrel.
Aww.
I appreciate that.
Oh, and I have this one also. If you'd like to add a little,
This is a. Looks like it.
and you can paint it if you want. Yeah, I had gotten a set of like 10, 15 of these little squirrels. I got pumpkins, but I'm not sure if you really go in fall. So if you want to, I got those. And then I also have these cute little.
Oh, cute.
I had obviously done a fall thing earlier. I always have
We
a stash.
stick to a theme.
I have a stash. I usually have something going on. Oh, that could work. Where's the glue?
Can I stick that?
Do you still have it?
Yeah, I do have it.
Okay, perfect.
I don't know where I was like, it's here, I promise. I put it down. It just happened to possibly vanish after I sat it down. As do most stuff in my life as I set it down.
That's typical. That's how it works. How hard is it to put together?
What?
Yours?
Oh, it's just mixing stuff.
I can't wait to see.
Can't wait for the reveal.
Right? It's gonna be green.
Ooh, green.
Interesting. Frog, probably.
Nah, it's giving rabbit.
Maybe.
It's obviously a rabbit, guys.
Well, green fox is not something I would naturally think of, so.
If you look on the cover of the box, I don't think anything is their true natural color.
Oh, I got a little on my thumb. It's coming with me.
You could paint the leaves also like a more autumnal color.
Mm-hmm. I think so. I think I'm gonna have to throw in some yellow and reds in there. All of a sudden, got ourselves a little fall fairy. That was a good sigh, Hannah. That was a good sigh.
I'm not feeling well.
Uh-oh. Huh.
I all of a sudden like have like really like weird feeling in my belly. Like I just had an apple.
Oh, yeah. That's
You
not
an
good.
apple?
She, like the acid in the apple kind of really upsets her tummy.
And whenever I have this feeling, I just think of the apple.
Oh. Sorry, I got lost. You're like,
Yeah, no.
I feel like an apple, and I was like, what?
Oh, okay.
I was like, cool. Like, I don't know what that means, but I don't know if that's good or bad or what that means exactly.
Alrighty. Did you need any more glue?
Yeah.
Oh, here. I'm gonna pass that back. mahogany.
I don't know if the glue will work on this, but we'll try.
Well, this at first was a little bit of a challenge, but it is coming along. So. Oh, oh, that's a good idea.
I don't know if this is gonna stick or not.
Well, it's been pretty good. I'm gonna move it in the middle. That way we don't.
Okay.
I don't have to let that.
So I'm just gonna.
No, you're fine.
Oh my gosh, it stayed.
I'm gonna say I think it's been working pretty well actually.
It's actually staying.
I'm gonna remember that is the Gorilla Glue. It's actually been really good with all my props so far. Gotcha. Yeah, that's the hard part. Not easy. You alright, Hannah? You gonna make it?
Yeah.
Make sure.
It's really hot. Let me get some water.
Okay.
There's ice in the freezer.
Okay, thanks.
That is coming along. I think he
Okay,
is
good. The paint dried on my finger.
good. And it'll come off after that. I just have to kind of scrape it off.
No, I don't mind it on my finger. I just didn't want to get on the stuff.
Huh. Yeah, that's it. I put him on the top.
Oh, got it. I don't know where the Gorilla Glue's at. So I'm just gonna. Oh, nope, I stuck my finger right in it.
So that's what I got so far. I think I'm gonna get some more leaves and stuff and put it all the way around and add some more color. But I just ended up with this little piece for my fairy garden and her little garden friends. Now I think this is getting dry over here. Starting to. Still wet. You gonna be okay, Hannah?
Yeah, it's just some got a little ice.
To help.
Yeah, put it on me.
Can I ask you a favor? Would you be able to take this and move this over? It's really wet still, and I don't think it's gonna be dry anytime soon. So I think I'm gonna just have it dry out over in on the counter. I'm gonna lay it down.
Just gonna set it right here, and I'll grab it.
That's very precarious. Come on, stick. Okay. No.
All right, so I gotta set up. I got a little e-suites for my little studio, my little art studio. I need to have light, so I'm gonna put it by the window. And of course, I'm gonna need. I gotta actually create the other pieces. That's where that might go. And I might need a little case for all these color pencils.
Oh gosh.
And I got this cute little believe in your dreams, and I just couldn't resist. It's a little unicorn, believe in your dreams. I might put that on the wall as one of the paintings.
That's nice.
But if I put that on now, what should I do? Should I wait?
Should probably wait till you get the furniture down.
I just need it to dry. And I think I might actually make that an accent wall color or wallpaper or something. Just not entirely sure what I want to do there. What do you think?
Oh my goodness, it looks cute.
It's kind of I'm going to do like a little
could
case.
put it above it over your painting as you're painting to make it like believe in this.
Ah. That's very true. Very true. They did also have a TV.
Oh, nice.
I could also put it on the wall, but I was kind of trying to figure out, okay, do I want it on there or not?
It looks as if I was pranked.
You're kidding? That
Well,
It's empty?
Well, I just assumed that it came with like,
The bowl?
Oh.
yeah, or something there. No, it's empty. Yes.
I was like, is it empty completely?
There's a couple different things. When you get done,
Sure.
when you get done, when you sit, when you're ready,
Mhm.
there is another glass.
There's like a
container.
little box over there. I
Yeah.
can grab it for you.
Yeah, you can use that one.
So
There's also
I don't really like those, only because I kind of want to see it.
so the glass is so like a fish bowl. I'd gotten it for our other projects, and we just never used it after that.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's a heavy one.
It's
Just
hefty.
hefty?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, thanks.
And then that one can be used for.
Yes.
And again, it's like a terrarium style.
I really like that stuff.
So you can kind of look into it like a fish bowl, but you're enjoying the different, things that you can do. And you can set it down, add pieces to it. You can make it actual plants in there too. You can go to the Home Depot or Lowe's or your local garden center, and you can use live plants and put in real moss and keep it watered and make your fairy garden real live fairy garden. That's the fun about all the different possibilities. That's for sure. One more thing. Can you pass me the blue mossy stuff? I'm gonna try your idea.
You also make like you could use like a little plastic box and you can put it outside the window and make a little flower box outside your window.
I'm thinking that too. I was thinking I can do it on both sides. I was thinking I can paint the outside and the inside so I can really make it. And then maybe on the outside I can have like the actual garden part, so like I'm peeking into my studio, but outside, what is she drawing from the window?
Yeah, that'd be fun.
What is she drawing from the window? Just some choices.
The bottom of this bowl is actually not flat.
That's what you use the moss. Put that down first.
Well, I mean, I was gonna just set it out.
Oh.
Oh, I have some. I have some flat. Dang it! I feel the rock shifted. No. Okay. So as I was sitting, now the rock is stuck to my finger. Ow. Ow. I have some cardboard you can put in the bottom of it if you want.
Maybe that'll work.
Then you can cover it with moss if you want to make it look
Okay.
natural.
Where is it close? Okay.
It should be like two.
Does that look like a pillow, or should I just sew up a pillow? I think I'm going to sew up a pillow.
This looks good though. We probably saw it. Thanks.
Yeah, I might do that. But that's a good size for it.
Yeah, you could glue it and shut and then like paint over it if you want a little bit.
Well, I was
Yeah.
thinking, I do have some like scrap material that I might just make a little pillow, couple little pillows, little throw
Can I
pillows
get
for
those
it.
scissors?
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
I didn't know if that would be the right size. I
No,
didn't
it's
know.
very close.
Anyways, back to trying to glue rock to glass.
Well,
This is basically what the hobby has become, is just rock, glass, rock, glass. We're just gonna hold that in prayer. No. No. Why do you hate me?
I don't need you. These are also, I'm not sure how to use these. We'll see what happens.
Gave me the small
They
bit
have
of
little lights there too, so you can light up your little room if you wanted, or your hobby area.
That's fun.
So I picked these out too, so I can set them out and then have
You make a little lamp if you want to even.
Oh, I could make a little lamp out of it, huh? Could totally do that.
You make the base, you just cover this part up with the base, make it like a click lamp for the bottom, and then get a little, maybe like a straw,
Yeah, strong.
bend it down, and then like a little covering for it.
Yeah, the covering could be just one of those little umbrellas from the drinks.
Yeah.
I could totally do that. That could work. That could work. Yeah, that's neat. I like that. There was only one set of these that was left, so I grabbed it because I thought I could try it. I don't know what I'm doing yet, but I can try it.
It's currently like me with these no!
Uh-oh.
My finger went directly in the glue. I love it that it's just like two competent people doing art, and then it's just me fumbling every 10 seconds. It's like, oh, I've dropped it. Oh, it's dropped again. It's like,
No, No.
There's
no.
2 competent artists, and then there's me.
No, I don't want anyone to say that though, because the point is that you are.
Butterfingered? Yes.
Well, that's the thing. Remember, we're not supposed to be saying those negative things to ourselves. We're supposed to be able to like, okay, yes, maybe it isn't cooperating with you, and maybe you're having a
I
hard
mean, the
time.
art's coming out fine. It's
But
the fact
the
that I
art-
keep sticking my finger in glue every 2 seconds. It's not the most fun part.
But you know, sometimes art isn't so glamorous either. You know, sometimes it's messy and dirty, and the artist gets in there, and I can't. I am not a clean artist. I will anything I get in, I get on me. I get on me. I get on my clothes. I get on something. I spill. It happens all the time.
Press is done. I'm done with it.
Oh, it's not working.
I don't really like it.
Okay, well, I also have some pots, clay pots, and other pots that you can use as well if you want to do more of that.
I'll take a look.
There's a kind of blue one. There's a lot of blue ones. I love blue, so there's a kind of that pot. And you know what they also do sometimes is they break one and they use it and make like a stair ladder and stuff. And they got that one, and then I have
Okay.
a littler one if you want a smaller one.
It's okay.
Okay. You also have that white one that was
so
a little
covered in
No, it's just
deeper.
covering too much.
Okay.
You see, it's like kind of covering too much. You have to like look in.
Okay.
Although I could cut it off the side, kind of like yours looks like.
You could wrap also to make it like wrap the outside of it so it looks really like your own kind of thing, like with whatever like wrap you want to do. Take the top off of it, make it look nice and smooth, and all this.
So you can always get a
glitters.
bigger box and just like cut it so that's more of a diorama. So it's more like take that part off. Get a bigger one so you have more space, but make it this way.
Oh.
And then you can have the sides, but it's also a little deep. And all my boxes are over in that corner that you might be able to find that might work a little bit better. I went with the smaller ones because I thought you were doing minis.
I am, but then this house is like really throwing it off.
Here, yeah.
So I may or may not use it.
It's all right. Completely works. We are getting closer to the time, it looks like. So we have about maybe 10 minutes left anyway. So if you want to go look for the piece, or if you're looking at trying to continue on, we may continue our projects as we go, because I need waiting for mine to dry so I can finish adding my pieces to my studio, and then being able to add other little pieces. So obviously it's not something that's going to be done in just one little session. You can continue to work on them and just have some more fun. Look around and see what you can find on your walks. You might find some rocks that you can add to your fairy garden. You can decide what you want to do and where you might want to place it, and you can add to your fairy garden and make a big fairy city. And just really enjoy the process of that. But remember to always give yourself compassion and others around you of the time and the grace of being able to just appreciate what you're allowing yourself to do and express yourself in a different way, and just enjoy the process. So thank you again for joining us, Hannah and
This is
Ashley.
Hannah.
And I really appreciate them coming in and having some fun today at our artist play date. And I thank you very much for joining us. Come next week, we're going to be doing dream catchers. Yes, we're going to be doing dream catchers next week. Thank you very much. Have a good week.
Peace.
Bye.
Also, this isn't going to be done for another hour, so you have to come back next week to see who was right about what animal it is.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Me. We
See
gotta
you
put in a
next
vote. You should
time.
vote. We should vote. Peace. Can you hit the thing?
Oh, I was going to let you roll.
There's so much glue on my finger.